Hi and welcome to the New Leaf Wellness Podcast. My name's KP.
And I'm Air.
How are you?
สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadee Krap.
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm really well.
Yeah.
Podcast number 10. The last one went really well. Lots of views. Thank you very much for that. And a few downloads. It's still getting download.
Yep. You
That's
can
great.
download from, Play Store, Apple Store, any store.
Any store. So today, I was just saying off camera that the last thing I learn about becomes the most important thing in my life for a short period of time. And what happened for me was I got ill, right? Obviously I had COVID, but I had been vaccinated before that and I had fatigue from the vaccination. I went to the doctor and he said, "Oh, you've got vaccine fatigue." And I went, "What? I've never heard of that." And whether he just made it up on the spot or not, I'm not sure about that. But today we're talking about 5 hunger hormones. And they're not only hunger hormones, but they can really affect your body if you've had COVID-19 or any sort of illness really, and also create this insatiable appetite that people can find they get.
These hormones responsible, in our body function, of course, they control your hunger and a lot more. And a lot of people don't talk enough about it. People don't even know that we have these many hormones in our body, right? So when it's you are healthy, everything in balance, everything under control. But what happened now is that after this COVID, the past 2 years especially, a lot of people in lockdown, work from home, the gym closed, lack of exercise, eat a lot more. Me personally, experienced the reopening in October, and the repeat gets come back, and they all mostly put on between 15 to 20 kilos.
That's a lot of weight, isn't it?
In the past couple of years.
Wow.
So what happened is with this hormone, right, stress as well, and the more you eat, the more you want to eat. So because this hormone is out of place. So today we're going to talk more into these hormones responsible for our hunger.
There's a lot of them, but we're going to settle on 5 today, and that's ghrelin.
Yeah, ghrelin.
Also, estrogen.
Estrogen, we're going to talk more about it. A lot of people misunderstand about this hormone being female hormone.
Cortisol.
Cortisol, the stress hormone.
And insulin.
And the last one, the leptin.
Leptin.
Yes.
Which is a really interesting one because it works with insulin.
Yes.
And it regulates fat storage and also tells the brain where to actually put the fat.
Exactly.
So the first one we're going to talk about today is ghrelin.
Yes.
Now it's a stomach hormone. And how ghrelin works is that it leaks into your gut.
Yep.
And then it tells your brain that you're hungry.
Yes.
That's how that hormone works. Now it's from the pituitary gland, and that works with the brain. And what happens with people who are obese or overweight, quite morbidly overweight, they have this thing called ghrelin resistance. And they produce actually more ghrelin
Yes.
than they're supposed to. So it's an interesting hormone from that perspective. And the other thing with ghrelin, with men especially, when you come to a detox resort, you're feeling great about yourself. And then all of a sudden, as you come to the end or you start going home, what happens is you start eating, the ghrelin, you're producing more ghrelin. So all of a sudden you're getting hungry. And it's what you were saying earlier. The more you eat, the more hungry you feel.
Yes.
What happens with men, it produces more growth hormone.
Yes.
So more human growth hormone, HGH, and produces more ghrelin. So what you have to do, what a man has to do specifically, is include a bit of protein.
Yes.
Some sort of protein. And now if you come out of detox, the best way to do that would be to use a shake.
Yes,
a
plant-based protein powder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just mix it in with water or some smoothie or some juice and take that. Basically, a balanced diet, right? So to control this ghrelin, so you have to get a balanced diet. And that includes the vitamin, mineral, protein, and carbohydrate and everything. To not just come off the fasting and go ahead and eat burgers and fries and things like that and throw your body out of whack again.
Yeah.
So balance. So you cannot just go straight to vegetarian either. You still can have the option of to still need the protein, but from plant. we prefer.
And that's what happens. People come out of detox, they freak out a little bit. Oh, I'm eating again. I've got to stick to some sort of low carb diet of
Yes.
something, they start producing more hormone and then they're running around insatiably hungry. So, avocado, good fat is the way to manage this with some really nice protein.
Good fat, coconut oil, salmon, reduce all the sugar intake. That include like high fructose corn syrup.
Right.
Yeah, because this kind of processed chemical that make you want to eat more. As you know, that a lot of us might not be able to eat that much solids, right? So you can just take a supplement like psyllium husk, for example. They expand 25 have its own white and it pure fiber, contain no calories. It's really good to help that. Yeah, and another way that you can take supplement called chromium picolinate. Yeah, that's like an appetite suppressant. That is for the person who's at like have a hard time to really go back. You can try that at first for the next few weeks. But psyllium husk is very safe to take it.
So you can have them both, right? You can have psyllium husk.
Yeah, so that will make you feel full.
Yeah.
But this chromium picolinate do a lot more. Than
suppresses the appetite.
Yeah, suppresses the appetite.
Lowers the blood sugar.
Yeah.
Suppresses the appetite. Yeah, they use it sometimes for insulin-resistant people.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about the 5 hunger hormones, and we're up to number 2, which is estrogen. I just learned about this, believe it or not, that it's important in men too.
Yes, we learn new things every day.
Wow.
Yeah. So what happened? All our life, most people think testosterone is male hormone, estrogen is female hormone, but that is not true. These 2 hormones can be found in both sex,
right?
Males and female. Of course, it's more testosterone in male and more estrogen in female. What happens if these out of balance? It will affect the weight gain. We're going to talk about estrogen. And male actually affect their sex drive. And people have problem with sex drive in male with erectile dysfunction and things like this. Male immediately think they need more testosterone.
Right.
But actually, it's not like that. It's not about have high testosterone. It means going to increase your sex drive. It actually you have to look up in estrogen. It's testosterone that responsible for male function, all the organs and strength and everything. But responsible for sex drive in male actually estrogen. But male doesn't need high estrogen, just small level, but absolutely essential needed.
It needs to be regulated properly. Yeah.
Yes.
We get a lot of men who sort of, they message me going, by the way, is there anything, what can I do to improve my libido? In the past, I've directed them to other things, but I haven't directed them to checking this hormone, which is really, really important.
Yes, exactly. Most doctors, as a general practitioner, that what they're always gonna check for male is testosterone.
Right.
That's why we advise you, if you feel fatigue, so don't brush it off at being in old age. It's no such thing as just like, you're getting old. The age should be just a number. If you look after yourself, 50, 60, doesn't matter. You should look into this and get checked out properly.
What happens is a lot of people go to the doctor and they just hand it over to the doctor. But general practitioners don't look for these things, right? So you have to go in there and say, I want a blood test and I want to check my hormones.
Yeah, especially when you have fatigue related, usually it's the hormone that produced in adrenal gland that you need to look into it.
That's exactly what happened to me.
Yes, exactly.
I was training really hard. I was fatigued. My hormones were out of balance.
Yeah, at first, in his case, he struggled in the way of regulate his blood pressure.
That's right. My heart rate.
Yeah, your heart rate cannot come down.
Yeah.
Usually, when you're so fit, you should be able to bring your heart rate down very quickly. And your heart rate just stay up for a long time. Even you stop, it still doesn't come down straight away.
Yeah, I knew straight away. I mean, after the second gym session, I thought, whoa, something's wrong here,
So we reach out to the doctor we know that, know more than the average doctor, I said. So he said, okay. He said straight away that you have adrenal gland fatigue. Especially someone used to be so fit, or one day, it's not just going to happen one day that's like, you're getting old. It doesn't work like that. I think that's why we encourage all of you that if you're after 5 cups of coffee, you should need more than
a nap in the afternoon, all that sort of thing, low energy in the afternoon.
Then definitely something more into it.
Yeah, the other thing that came up out of that too was the exercise. I was doing high intensity exercise around that. And that's the worst thing you can do for your
Exactly.
adrenal gland, right? So
Yeah.
I was sort of trying to train my way through it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of...
He believed like, okay, if I can get through this, I'm going to get better. But when your adrenal gland fatigue, the best way for you is to rest. But that doesn't mean rest, no exercise completely, but definitely not high intensity.
Not at high
training.
intensity, yeah.
Maybe swimming, yoga and stretching, that type of thing, surfing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to go back to about estrogen, right? Incorrect estrogen level cause many women weight gain and weight loss in some issue, but a lot of time it's weight gain.
And it's back to the green veggies to control it. It's like cabbage and broccoli and...
All this food, it helps so much. But again, when you get caught up in this life and busy, it's sometimes it's hard for them to get back on track when everything off balance. So sometimes when you go to retreat, it's easier your environment that's set up and help you, get back on track.
Today we're talking about the 5 hunger hormones. We've covered ghrelin, estrogen. Now we're up to number 3, which is cortisol.
Yes.
Stress.
Yes, stress.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us know about this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of gets mentioned and know about it. But sometimes it's hard to manage the stress because nowadays, everything is stressful. Let's face it, work-wise and now traveling, even people before traveling would be something you de-stress. But now it actually causes more stress, especially like now you can even come to Thailand with all the application and document and things. It causes stress. But usually go on holiday, it used to be like,
easy.
Book a ticket, accommodation and set and go. And now,
you got to get all the documents,
after PCRs,
upload,
and oh my God, so the stress even more. However, when you get over that hurdle, you can de-stress. But again, talk about cortisol, the stress hormone.
Yeah, the interesting thing about it, from an exercise perspective, cardio is not great. Because when we talk about stress, we talk about stressing the body.
Yeah.
So it may not be something that's externally happening to you, but internally happening to you. And they talk about less than 40 minutes of cardio. So if you're on the treadmill, 40 minutes, which kind of contradicts these skinny marathon runners, right? But they're kind of running through it. What actually they talk about is the cortisol stresses the body, which creates more adrenaline, which makes you hungry and you eat more. And usually what happens is people that exercise tend to go, I've been so good, I've just got off the treadmill, I've done 5K on the treadmill, therefore I can eat this. And they've just put all the calories back on.
Exactly.
And stress their body.
Yes. Because you cannot out-train bad nutrition, right? Because it's just like, okay, I just burned 1,000 calories, therefore I can eat whatever I want. It doesn't work like that. You still get the calorie from unnecessary things that harmful to the body and tax your body and stress your body even more. If you, after the long session exercise, you still need a good nutrient in the body, something that easy to the body to digest and process. So that kind of like de-stress the body a little bit and reduce the cortisol a little bit. That's why like juice and smoothie and green juice smoothie, it's perfect after the long session in the gym.
Again, it's an adrenal gland thing. It's produced in the kidney and it also regulates the blood sugar. So basically what happens is if you are overtraining or you're, producing a lot of stress in your body, it turns the blood sugar into fat.
When you have high cortisol, it prevents weight loss.
Right.
Because the body can hold everything and store everything into fat. That's why when we have business people, especially women, come to doing detox, and they're just so obsessed, try to lose weight, even more, weigh themselves every day. And something opposite happens to them.
Yeah, that's the stress.
There's a stress.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just, because it's not something like can be measured straight away, right?
No.
Just say, please relax.
Yeah.
But you cannot tell someone to relax. For a lot of people, it's hard because they're just so intense. Because they used to like manage people and running around, do a lot of work and stress all day. And they just want to get the result.
It's about relaxing, meditation, yoga, reading a book, just generally taking it easy and understanding that when you are stressing your body, that's what you're developing.
Yeah, and when you have this for a long time, like a long-term stress, and the body that keep producing cortisol for a long, long time, that can affect your health in the long term as well.
Create resistance as well.
Exactly, and like Cushing syndrome.
Yeah.
That come from long-term stress and have this cortisol level so high for too long. So it's something you just have to try to monitor. Something like maybe go out and swim, go for a hike.
Low intensity.
Yeah, low intensity, or yoga, meditation is something definitely, help de-stress, or going to the retreat where you don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah, the environment's created for you. Yeah. Today we're talking about the 5 hunger hormones.
Yes.
A very popular one. People think they know a lot about it, is called insulin.
Yes.
And they associate it with the blood.
Yeah.
But actually, insulin is called the king of fat.
Yeah.
And why is it called the king of fat? It's called the king of fat because it regulates where your blood sugar goes. And if it's out of whack, the more insulin you have,
yes,
it's going to turn the excess into body fat.
Totally.
And type A diabetes, they use insulin injection to try and control it.
Yes, because it's produced in the pancreas, insulin.
Right.
And I tell a lot of guests, when you take a drink like Diet Coke or Coke Zero or that kind of thing, what happened? Even though sugar is bad, but this thing, why it's worse with its aspartame. Basically, you trick your body that the sugar coming. So the body release and produce all the insulin.
Right.
Because they think sugar coming, but no sugar.
Right.
So basically, what you're gonna take or eat anything gonna store into fat because the body's just like ready to catch those sugar. Because that's how they've been trained.
I mean, people get shocked when I say to them, if you're going to have a soda,
Better have
the soda.
One. Yeah.
Don't have the diet soda or the Coke Zero or that. They are way worse.
Exactly.
Way worse for your body.
Because the way they trick your body, your brain, your hormone, it's, especially in the long term, this aspartame is not good.
Insulin is, again, it's about what you eat.
Yeah.
It's about nuts, avocado, good fat.
Good fat.
Always about the good fat stuff.
And the green vegetable.
And see, when people diet, they have an imbalance. So when you diet, and you have this low carb, low fat diet, you're doing yourself more harm than good because what's happening is you're throwing out your hormones at the same time. So the adverse reaction happens. That's when people diet and then they start eating again, all the weight and more goes back on.
Exactly.
And it's all about the hormones. So you can control your weight gain and your weight loss by having regulated hormones, proper hormones.
So to control insulin level, so you can do by avoid overeating.
Right.
Yeah, so again, I always advise the guests, if you had a hard time control your eating at first, you'd have to manage by only a proper portion in front of you. Straight away, how you control it. That's what you're gonna eat. Not like lay the food in front of you and just eat everything. Because you get carried away. You just, serve the proper portion in front of you. That's how you can monitor yourself, right? And avoid refined sugar, carbohydrate, refined carbohydrate.
Like me and you grew up, you've got to eat everything on your plate.
Yep.
What's happening now, the plates are getting bigger.
Exactly, the portions
are getting bigger and bigger. And if you go somewhere like the United States of America, some of the portions are just astronomical.
Exactly, because they believe you get what you paid for there. But 75% of that is not useful to the body anymore, become harmful to the body. So that's why you have to monitor the portion.
I remember being in Hawaii and we went to a buffet breakfast once down in Waikiki Beach, and they have these pancake stacks. And just out of interest, the server was bringing the pancakes off a table that weren't finished. And I said to her, does anyone get through those? And she said, no one.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay. So I'm talking a huge amount of buttermilk with all this maple syrup and cream.
And not even real, right?
And that was breakfast, right?
Exactly.
I'm like, wow.
What you go from there, you have breakfast like that, right? Because all those places, they definitely don't serve a real maple syrup because the real maple syrup is not sweet actually.
No, it's right. That's right. It's
all
very
high
subtle.
fructose corn syrup, which is like make you hungry even more. You have to eat all that and you just want more straight away.
Right.
Because the body's like where the nutrient. That's why nutrient dense is a key. Wake up and you have a nutrient dense breakfast, like a glass of green smoothie is so powerful for breakfast.
Perfect. So to control it, magnesium.
Yeah.
Got to have a balanced magnesium. You've got to check that too, right?
Yes.
Any sort of mineral you need to check in your body, but also, again, as we said, good fat, nuts, avocado, salmon. If you don't like fish, then you can do some oil extract.
For sure.
Yeah, that's the best way to control your insulin.
Yes.
So today we are talking about the 5 hunger hormones.
Yes.
We have covered ghrelin, estrogen, cortisol, insulin, and now number 5,
Leptin.
leptin. And as we were saying off camera before earlier, this is a really underestimated hormone in the body, which is produced in the brain, and it tells the brain, I've eaten enough, it's okay, I've had enough. And so many supplements out there that talk about weight loss and weight control and appetite suppressant. Mm-hmm. They try and control the leptin.
Yes.
And what happens with people who are overweight and obese, they actually it has the opposite effect. They create what's called leptin resistance. And what happens is sometimes they've measured it and they've got 4 times the amount of leptin that they need to have. So they're never told not to eat.
Exactly.
So they'll eat a meal and like Ricky Gervais used to say, Ricky Gervais, the
comedian,
British comedian, used to say, I was peckish between snacks. Yeah. So he was like eating 8 times a day, right?
Exactly. But leptin is a fat hormone. It works with insulin.
That's right. Works with insulin and tells the body where to distribute the blood sugar.
Yes.
And if it doesn't distribute it properly, it just stores it into body fat. Again, it's also what works really well with leptin is an anti-inflammatory, like turmeric.
Inflammatory.
So you have less inflammation in your body.
Yes, so turmeric, fatty fish, like got omega-3, peppers, avocados, mushroom, and sleeping.
Sleeping, yeah.
And adequate sleep will help, balance the leptin out.
Yeah. I think it's really good too, but also getting back to the fish, we've been promoting fish a little bit for the oils and stuff. You have to be very, very careful about where the fish comes from, how it's farmed, if it's farmed fish or if it's fresh or wild fish. The mercury levels at the moment are just off the chart.
Off the chart.
Mercury is 100% tied to cognitive issues which formulate in the brain. So be careful with fish.
Yes.
Make sure it's good fish. If you're going to eat anything anyway, it should be as good as it can possibly be.
Especially if you're a male and you have a male issue, make sure to check for your estrogen level.
Estrogen, not testosterone, guys.
Yes.
Estrogen levels.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good. Thanks a lot for that because it's something that I've tested just recently and got some really interesting results as a result of, we don't know whether it's because I had COVID, because I'm vaccinated, we just don't know,
Yes.
But I've never had it before.
Yes.
And all of a sudden I had it.
Yes.
After vaccine and COVID. If there's some correlation there, maybe not.
Yeah.
But there could be. And if there is, the best way for you to do is to check it. If you're feeling fatigued, it's not just old age.
Exactly. Especially it's all sudden, if you cannot carry on the activity or the exercise you used to be able to.
Yeah.
To question yourself, right? And if you have any more questions about these hormones, feel free to contact us.
Yeah, you can just subscribe to our channel, New Leaf Wellness Podcast. It's pretty much everywhere. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. And you can contact Air directly if you have anything personal you want to talk to her about the hunger hormones.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks very much.
Thank you. สวัสดีค่ะ